Hello friend, my name is Doombabe, and today we're going to be talking about something that I get asked a lot, and it's been kind of a requested video, and that is my favorite anime. And I know that these lists typically come in like 5s and 10s, but I tried doing 5 and I just couldn't get all the anime in that I wanted, and then I tried doing 10, the script was too long, so we're kind of cheating. And no, this does not include hentai. A top 5 hentai list will come on later down the road. So starting out at the bottom, we're going to talk about Blue Gender, which is a little off the wall in comparison to the other titles we're going to be mentioning later, but Blue Gender is one of my favorite sci-fi slash military anime ever. Because contrary to popular belief, I do actually enjoy mecha anime. This is the oldest title in the list, having aired first in 1999, and it tells the story of Yuji Kaito, a young man that's been put into cryogenic freezing after finding out he has a terminal illness, in the hopes that the future scientists of Japan will have developed a cure by the time they wake him up. However, he ends up being frozen for 22 years because this alien race known as the Blue kind of pops up and starts screwing shit up, so they didn't really know what to do with them, so they just kind of left them there. But then he wakes up and he meets the Kudere Marlene and ends up joining the mecha-donning military gang, and they fight aliens and shit. So when I first started writing the script, I kind of had a lot of trouble coming up with why exactly I like Blue Gender so much. But then the more I started writing, the more I realized that it expertly uses a lot of flashbacks that really build up the drama in each scene, and the whole underlying theme of mankind's destroying itself is really intriguing. And the more I think about it, there was actually a lot of character and story development, so maybe that was it. Anyways, this is a great mecha anime if you're into mature titles. If you're kind of a squeamish prude, this really isn't it for you. Also, it doesn't really look the greatest because 90s. Coming in at number 6 is Oban Star Racers, which I am sure quite a few of you will remember this as being the anime that aired on Disney XD and Jetix. Oban Star Racers tells the story of Eva Wei, a teenager that's sick of being ignored by her father and escapes the stuffy boarding school she's stuck in to go find him. But when she finds him, he doesn't even recognize her, so she ends up getting a job at his racing company as a mechanic under the name Molly. When her father's best racing team is ordered by the government to take part in the Great Race of Oban, an intergalactic race where the winners are granted any wish, she travels with them as a stowaway and ends up finding herself as Earth's representative in the race. What I really loved about Oban is that this is one of those stories that is completely devoid of plot holes, and it features character and story development across the board that really draws you in. Every character feels necessary to the story in some way or another. They're just expertly created to where you actually feel a connection to them as the series progresses. The races were fantastically scripted too, and the outcome of each race isn't exactly always what you would expect it to be. So that really keeps you on the edge of your seat when you're watching. This is also one of those shows that has a beautiful soundtrack that really just ties everything together. It also has a pretty unique art style where it bounces back and forth between 2D and 3D, so that was just sort of like the nice big cherry on top. Seriously, this anime is so underrated, it's almost a sin. A part of me wonders if this actually surprises anyone, or if you guys saw this coming, but 5th on the list is Gata HK, which is also known as Yamada's First Time. Gata HK tells the story of Yamada, a 15-year-old that is gorgeous and she knows it. When she enrolls in high school, she comes in with a mission that she is going to sleep with 100 guys by graduation, but there's only one problem. Not only is she a virgin, she is extremely self-conscious about it. So she decides that the only way to lose her virginity is, of course, to lose it to another virgin. And this is where she meets Kosada. But because they have no idea what they're doing, hilarity obviously ensues. So even though this is only 12 episodes and it sounds very, very ecchi-ish, Gata HK is an extremely funny anime where it kind of covers the awkward stigma associated with losing your V-card. This usually ends up with the characters finding themselves in outrageous situations, usually due to a lack of communication on their part, but the creators did it in a way where it actually sort of ended up being like this really heartwarming romance by the end. This also has a really good cast of English voice actors, including Brittany Karbowski as Yamada, so if you have the option between sub and dub, I do highly suggest dub. This is a relatively recent discovery for me, but fourth on the list is Shiki. First aired in 2010, Shiki is a 22-episode horror anime that tells the story of 3 individuals living in the town of Sodaba. Megumi Shimizu is a 15-year-old that dreamt of a fabulous life in Tokyo before being killed by a vampire and resurrecting as an undead. Toshio Ozaki is the unfortunate doctor tasked with figuring out what is causing so many deaths in his town, and Natsuno Yuki is a teenager that just recently moved to the town from the big city that finds himself in the middle of it all. The story progression in Shiki is just absolutely superb, and one of the things I really enjoyed about the writing was the fact that we got to see the story from all sides. So we got to see the story from the villagers' perspectives, yes, but we also got to see it from the vampires, the Shiki's perspective as well. So it really created a 3-dimensional story. It also featured a hauntingly beautiful soundtrack, but if you want to see the full review of Shiki, you can see it here. So sticking with the horror/supernatural genre, number 3 is Umineko no Naku Koroni, also known as When the Seagulls Cry, and it is also known as the sort of 3rd installment of the When They Cry series. However, that is not to say that it cannot be watched on its own. This tells the story of the Ushiromiya family, an extraordinarily wealthy family that convenes once a year on their private island to basically shit-talk each other and talk about money. The head of the family, Kinzo, is dying because he's like a zillion years old and he sounds like a chain smoker, so the big point of discussion with the family this time around is talking about how they're going to redistribute his wealth once he's dead. But then this witch named Beatrice, who can control time, comes in and forces the family into a game where they're systematically slaughtered in accordance to an epitaph in the mansion that talks about the Golden Witch. If anyone can solve the witch's epitaph, they are granted 10 tons of the witch's gold and will become the next family head. If they don't, they are trapped in the cycle of death until the witch fully revives. Now, what I think I like most about Umineko is the fact that it really makes you think. I've shared this with a lot of people, and not everyone really enjoyed it because they didn't really understand what was happening a lot of the time, because it doesn't give you all of the answers up front, and it's really kind of like a 26-episode brain teaser. It also has a lot of recurring themes, such as the Raven paradox and diabolical proof. This is one of those anime where you need to be paying attention if you want to have any idea what's actually going on in the story, and I've always just really enjoyed anime like that. It's also hella dark, and it's really interesting to see the creators get creative in how they kill people. It's also beautiful with exquisite character design, albeit the women are a little fanservy with their massive boobies. And the soundtrack is just out of this world. It also has my favorite opening of all time. I'm not joking. Go look it up. That is my favorite opening. It's magic. Also, I cosplayed as Beatrice and it broke my sewing machine, and I kind of thought that was funny because it was like she killed my sewing machine. That was funnier in my head. So getting out of the horror genre, number 2 is, unsurprisingly enough, because God knows I talk about it enough, is Naruto. For all intents and purposes, it is tied for first, but I had to put it on the list somewhere, and well, it got bumped to second, I guess. I'm not going to talk about the plot, because if you don't know what Naruto is about, welcome to anime. So with Naruto being second on the list, this does encompass Naruto, Shippuden, and the movies, and Springtime of Youth. I spent a very long time making reviews for the Naruto series, so if you do want to actually check them out and you can listen to me gush, you can go here, here, and here. Otherwise, this is going to be an hour-long video of me fangirling, and really just no one needs that. Coming in at number 1 is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, which, yes, I know it's number 1 on a lot of people's lists, but this is a really good anime. And yes, I will say that it is far superior to Fullmetal Alchemist, just the first adaptation. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is about 2 brothers, Edward and Alphonse Elric, who lost their mother as children and used the art of alchemy in an attempt at bringing her back to life. However, their attempt fails horrifically, and they are soon approached by soldiers that offer them a position as state alchemists so they can work with the government. And in return, the government will help them look for the Philosopher's Stone, a legendary gem that is said to be the supreme form of alchemy that allows the user to completely ignore the laws of transmutation. Now, I'm not going to get into a full review, but this anime is one of the only anime I've ever watched where I genuinely consider it to be just absolutely flawless. The story is deep and full of intricate twists. Every character is given a colorful background. We get to see the story from different angles every now and again, and there is an abundance of character development. Combine that with stellar designs, a fantastic soundtrack, and a top-tier cast of English voice actors, and you have my favorite anime. Anyways, that does it for my top 7 anime, and for the bottom 3 in the top 10, there are the honorable mentions of Ouran High School Host Club, which I reviewed here, Welcome to the NHK, and Erica 7. Anyways, as always, you can find all of my social media as well as my Patreon in the description below, and hooray, we reached 2,000 subscribers after reaching 1,000 in I think like September, so that's like really freaking cool. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!